Okay, so Doctor Strange. So what? I'm about an hour and a half away from seeing Doctor Strange, and here's my predictions. The Illuminati's gonna be in there. Wanda's gonna turn evil. There's gonna be a lot of references to a lot of demonic creatures, and Doctor Strange is probably gonna screw up the multiverse even more. He's gonna think that he fixed up the multiverse, but he really screwed it up even more than what was originally was. There's gonna be a lot of references to these Disney Plus shows. It's gonna be a reference to Spider-Man No Way Home as well. Charles Xavier and Charles Xavier, Mr. Fantastic, and probably some variant. They're gonna make an appearance, and this movie's gonna tease for a future. Is it either gonna tease a future film or is it gonna tease a future Disney Plus TV show? Also, I can honestly see one of the X-Men showing up because if Professor X shows up, that's definitely gonna set up the mutants. Oh my God, I can only imagine. Either the mid-credit scene or the post-credit scene. You see this hairy-ass motherfucker just walking up to the camera. You only see his forehands. And out of nowhere, you see claws coming out. I will lose my shit. But that's just my predictions. Like I said, I'm about an hour and a half away from seeing it. So once I see the movie, I'll return back. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, the 28th film in the MCU, and the most recent movie to be released as of this video. This is a film that I had been looking forward to since the teaser in Spider-Man Far From Home, and even more so after the first trailer back in February. I must say that I was really hoping to love this film. Instead, I actually just liked it. Don't get me wrong, it was a great film. It had good action scenes, funny cringe moments that the MCU is known for, and introduced something new to the multiverse plot that the MCU has been going on in their film verse so far. Why I just like this stems more from my over expectations of the film. I had high hopes because this is the first solo film for Doctor Strange since 2016. I'm like, damn, even Spider-Man had his whole trilogy before Strange got a sequel. Most we've seen from Strange was as a side character as an Avenger or to assist someone linked to the Avengers. It's been 6 years! No solo hero has gone longer than Strange to get a sequel. Oh. My bad, Hulk. Okay, besides Hulk, no other hero has gone through a longer period of time without a sequel solo film. So for me, it was good to see Benedict come back and take the helm as the lead for a Marvel movie. Not only that, but Wanda was coming back, having succumbed to the influence of the witchcraft and the wizardry of the Darkhold. You know, someone who fucked with the supernatural long enough is going to end up tapping into something that wasn't meant to be tapped into. A wise man once said,
keep knocking on the devil's door long enough, and sooner or later somebody gonna answer you.
Most of the time, the person who did it regrets it in the end. And those who don't are probably in hell right now. Lastly, based on what we've seen in other Marvel projects like What If and Spider-Man Far From Home, we know different variations of characters exist, so it was an interesting plot to see how Doctor Strange would interact with a variant of himself. Especially one who is capable of having a third eye in the middle of his forehead. So for this portion of the video, I will say that Doctor Strange was a good movie. Very much worth the watch and the theater experience, whether you go solo or with someone else. Now, that was a spoiler-free portion of this video. Now we're about to get into the spoiler portion of this video. So let me start off with the bad, which are just my nitpicks. First, there wasn't enough horror. When I first heard of the Darkhold and the mystic abilities and it being called the Book of the Damned, I expected to see some demonic shit to appear in this movie. The closest thing to it was the Dark Souls that we saw in the trailer. I had thoughts of Wanda being possessed by some ancient being that had ties to either Blackheart, Damon Hellstrom, or even Mephisto himself. And hell, I was even hoping for a mid or post-credit scene where the screen was like in some fiery inferno-y place and some creepy red him-looking motherfucker with long fingers and fingernails would say something like, "Such a disappointment." Then the camera pans over to reveal the demon creature with a smile on his face and it cuts to black. Damn, I imagine they take me to some strange places. No pun intended. In addition to this, there were some parts that felt a bit cringe. Like, one moment in the movie, for example, when Christine Palmer, an alternate variation of her, was fighting the Dark Soul demons to protect Strange as he was going to his main universe to revive dead Defender Strange, and she said, "Go back to hell." Yeah, that felt a bit weird and cliche. And lastly, oh my goodness, this one hurts. Wanda dies. So, Wanda realizes the damage she caused, not only to the multiverse, but to her own kids. She pulls a Mama Spectre on Billy and Tommy, but 10 times worse, and scares the shit out of them. This causes her to snap back to reality and end her crusade of destruction by ending her own life, as well as the Darkhold across other universes. I'm not gonna lie, I felt a lot of empathy for Wanda throughout this film. You could see and feel the pain that she's going through day in and day out. All she wanted was to be happy. I mean, don't we all want to be happy? Granted, Wanda did do some fucked up shit, and her willingness to stop at damn near nothing to get to her kids, while somewhat admirable, is not really a redeeming factor for her, especially when you consider the grand scheme of fucking up other realities. At least if this is the end of Wanda Maximoff, she's with her parents and brother that Marvel tried so hard to forget and screwed up bad in WandaVision. Now that negativity is out the way, let's get into the good stuff. Okay, now let's talk about the movie. So many good things happen in this movie. For starters, the Illuminati. Now, I had this spoiled for me from various YouTubers as well as Marvel itself posting videos and photos teasing members being in the movie, but I did not expect to see Black Bolt in the group. I had the feeling that Mr. Fantastic was going to show up, so it was good to see John Krasinski show up as Miss Fantastic. I wouldn't have minded if the OG Miss Fantastic was in the movie either. The other members were Captain Carter, obviously, Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, and Charles Xavier himself. Good to see you again, Patrick Stewart. This sadly would not last long, which brings me to my next point. The action. Now, this was probably the most brutal film as far as action sequences and kills in the MCU. Case in point, the Illuminati members. Oh my God! Wanda quite literally woke up and chose violence. I knew they were fucked when Miss Fantastic tried to reason with her. Rest in peace, the MCU's Illuminati. Gone and probably will be forgotten after a few years. In addition to this, Wanda really put the fear in me as her demented pursuit for capturing America Chavez gave some horror vibes. This is the first MCU movie that I really felt some level of fear. I just wish that the movie added a little bit more horror to it. This probably would have pushed the movie to an R rating if it got too dark, which, you know, Marvel always got to think about the kids, unlike DC.
Fuck them kids.
And last but not least, a change in creative direction. While Marvel has been going in the direction of like grander scales of the cinematic universe, like going into the multiverse, and even talks of expanding more into the cosmos with Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor: Love and Thunder, Doctor Strange did well with furthering their creative expansion. Even the ending posed a great question of the future of Doctor Strange. In the end, Strange gets a third eye in the middle of his forehead, like Darkhold Strange, whom he killed Venom style in Spider-Man 3 game. Even the mid-credit scene teased something bigger for Doctor Strange for the future. It actually looks like Doctor Strange will be fighting multiversal conflicts with Clea. Now, Clea is someone who had a romantic relationship with Strange in the comics, which I really don't know if Marvel is willing to even mention that. They may kind of tease it, but I don't think this is going to push that far as them like being romantically linked to each other. Especially when this dude is still sprung on Christine Palmer. There was also mentions of incursions, which are periods of time where two Earths from different universes collide, and it lasts exactly 8 hours. You know, there's a certain Eternal who was a sole survivor and had experienced an incursion that would be an interesting addition to the MCU. Maybe one day. In conclusion, I give Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness a 7.5 out of 10. Now, last thing before I end this review, you remember when I said there were no more negative reviews about this film? Yeah. Let's talk about that post-credit scene.
Hello? That's not funny!
Seriously, it's not worth the wait. It's not worth the wait to see the very last scene of the movie unless you really like sitting down, or you're just not in a rush to leave the theater and you just want to further stall the theater workers from cleaning the auditorium. Now, as far as rankings among the other MCU movies, I put it above the first Doctor Strange movie, which would make it ranked 11th in my rankings. But anyway, that's my review of Doctor Strange. What do you think about it? Leave a comment and let me know what you thought about it. Thank you for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day. Hey, yo, has anyone checked on Mordo?